Guys, this is the Bonton at the Warren Mall. Well, what's left of the Warren Mall. Hi everyone, Anthony here, and welcome back to another episode. This time we are at the Warren Mall, or what's left of it anyways, in Warren, Pennsylvania. You know, in these tough economic times and tough times overall in general that we're dealing with, it has been my commitment and goal to try and provide you with new weekly content. As a creator, with everything going on in my life and your life and all of our lives, it is more difficult now more than ever to produce weekly content, but myself and Sal and a bunch of us other creators in the Dead Mall community are committed to doing so. Myself personally, I am not one who likes to do retreads of several other places. However, this property in general has had such a facelift, so to speak, that I decided that given the current circumstances and given the fact that it's relatively close to my home, that it would be a good idea to come down here and check out and see what the current update on this property is. So we're going to talk about several things in this episode. So number one is, as you can see now, I am not using my cell phone to record. I have purchased the Osmo Pocket. It is an amazing, amazing device, and this is my first ever video video shooting with the Osmo Pocket, so if the footage looks a little different, just give me a pass on this one while I get used to filming with this thing. But boy, oh boy, is this an amazing device and well worth the investment. And hopefully you guys enjoy the quality of footage that this bad boy produces, because it is, you know, my iPhone and my technique. First of all, I shoot with an iPhone because I have to. Because a lot of malls you have to be discreet and you can't just have a big old huge camera setup going on. But this device is even steadier than the footage I tend to shoot, and I'm super excited to bring you guys some new content with this device. So, like I was saying before, what you're seeing right now, especially the Napoli pizza we're passing here, it really blows my mind. So growing up in Western New York, I had two local malls, as I probably have mentioned before. We have the Chautauqua Mall, which I just did a video on, and we have the Warren Mall, which was about 15 miles southwest-ish of me, where I grew up in Jamestown, New York. So this property, the Warren Mall, it opened in 1979, and it probably should never have been built in the first place. Warren, Pennsylvania, and Pennsylvania in general is severely over-malled, as you guys probably well know. It seemed like every single county, I don't know why, for some reason, thought it had to have a mall. And the Warren population has lost about 7,000 people since this mall was built, so it's lost almost 9% of its population. And for a town this small, that is not good for the mall. And when you have that much population decrease, that's not going to do wonders for any mall, but let alone a small, thriving, or not so much thriving, but a small community like the Warren, Pennsylvania area. So where I'm walking right now, if I was here a couple years ago, or even 2 years ago, not even that, I would be in the mall. This would be the entrance to the Kmart. And seeing this mall in this shape really blows my mind, as I had mentioned earlier, because this mall sat for so long. It's almost like people forgot that it even existed. There were times, probably a couple hundred times I've been on this property, and even into probably, I'd say like 2000, so almost 20 years ago, this property was already dead. It died quickly and lasted into the late 90s, and then really was down to only a handful of tenants, as you see me holding the remnant piece. And how poetic is it that part of the sign just flew away in the wind, as you see me holding a piece of the mall directory sign, which, you know, really just pisses me off. Can I be blunt about that? You know, they could have took this directory out and saved it, but they just got smashed up. You know, that's I mentioned before that I'm not sentimental about these things, but one thing I am big on is preserving history, and malls and retail are a big part of our history. And as you can see now, it was just totally disregarded. The mall was sold in 2016. The Zamias Group sold it to Coco Development. And it's just, they come in and they just have no respect, didn't try to save any of the fountains, or didn't try to save any of the aesthetic features in the mall, just ripped it all down and put up a stupid strip plaza as we walk by the side of the Kmart here. So this property has sat empty for a very, very long time, or mostly empty. I have very fond memories of coming here as a child. We would go to a place called Peterson's Candies, which was kind of like in the middle, and it was basically like, if you guys can picture the game Candyland, it was a small little white house that had like these tall candy cane, the structure, like the supports of the building were made out of candy canes. It's the craziest thing ever. I'll try and find a picture and post it on my Instagram. But we would come down here and we would get lunch at that Napoli's Pizza, which used to be inside the mall forever. And if you go and watch one of my old videos, you can see the inside of that Napoli as it used to sit forever. And I never thought that I would see the day when that restaurant would no longer be, at least in its current form. The red and green old school benches, just the green and red, really tingy, dirty tile. Not dirty, but just kind of aged tile. The people that own the restaurant are actually good friends of mine. The boys, Stefano and his brother, I've known for a very, very long time, and the food is exceptional. But the vibe in that place was just so dope. They had an old school projection TV, the one where you would kind of sit on the side and couldn't really see it unless you were in the front of it. And they would always have some kind of soccer or something going on. Their dad is a super, super old school Italian into soccer and, you know, the old school Italian traditions and all that. And I remember as a kid sitting under the table eating stuffed shells. That was my favorite food, still is, and being afraid that the TV was going to fall on us. It was on like this like wooden pedestal thing, and I was always petrified that I was going to get squashed by an old school TV. But I'm here and I survived. So we're heading around the back side of the mall here. And as I had mentioned, I'm not a big fan of walk around tours. I don't like the outside tours. I don't really think they show a whole lot. But, like I said, content is kind of tough to get right now. And as you're going to see in a second here, we're going to get a nice little surprise that will make the video worth it. But I don't like to do retreads. I think, walk around clickbaity titles are not my thing. So hopefully you guys enjoy the tour of what we're about to see here in a second, because I know that I surely did. And this mall actually has a sister mall, the Indiana Mall in Indiana, PA, that you all, or some of you, are familiar with, that I have filmed, built by the same company, has almost identical features, a little different layout, but has the same tile fountains and overall same aesthetic design. Now, coming up here as I turn to the left, and you can't see it on camera, by the way, but there are these little fly things all over the place, we find out that boom, door is open, and some of the mall still exists. This blew my mind, even though it's a very small portion, to see this property in some fashion still exist in its original state. You can see that those are the postal boxes for the mall tenants, I presume, on the left-hand side. And then you have the wall there, which opens up into the new portion of the strip plaza, the old mall. And that's pretty much all that's left as we are about to go into the mall offices here. So this place is old. It's super old. I mean, it was a long time coming. It was well overdue to be redeveloped. It's just that it sucks that it had to be, gutted and pretty much wiped off the face of the earth in favor of a strip plaza. And another thing that I also feel contributed to the demise of this mall. Now, granted, the mall was already heavily in decline by the time it came around, but a huge, and I mean huge, new plaza just down the street with a Walmart and a Lowe's and a brand new Hampton Inn hotel opened up in the mid-2000s-ish. If you're local, let me know if you can pin down the exact date of when the Walmart opened. So that's about it, really. I'm going to let the natural sounds overtake the rest of the tour here. I just wanted to bore you guys with my talking here for a few minutes. You're going to see this nasty, dilapidated office, and it was it smelled really bad in there, by the way. So I got in and out of here as soon as possible. But there was some cool things to at least check out. So moving forward, just a quick little brief update before I do get out of here. Please, as I always say, I cannot stress this enough, please consider becoming a Patreon donor at patreon.com/ACESADVENTURES. 100% of those proceeds do go towards future mall adventures and trips. Also, most importantly, please consider following me on my Instagram and Twitter at ACESADVENTURES1. I post tons of new content there. And also, I have a merchandise shop too now at teespring.com/stores/ACESADVENTURES. I will post the link in the description below. Get the official Aces Adventures merchandise now, which again is more support for the channel. Consider following us on the Dead Malls of Discord. I will put a link in the description below for that, where you can find myself, Sal, Kristen, Jack from Retail Apocalypse, and several other creators that are on the up and coming in this whole retail community that we have going on here. And I will keep you guys updated. I do have a pretty big announcement/ambitious plan that I have briefly hinted on, and I'm working on finalizing the details of doing that safely. I will let you guys know when that has come to fruition, but there are big travel plans in the works while I have this free time. And I am fortunate. I am one of the more fortunate people during this pandemic. I have nothing to complain about other than being bored and wanting to get out of the house. So I am taking advantage of that opportunity while I still can. Everybody, please stay safe. Take care of each other. Practice social distancing, and let's get through this together. I will talk to you all soon and see you soon with more mall content.